we need to work harder. We need to show that despite the fact that our initial starting point is so-called weaker, but we can do this, that better than you.
Welcome back, everybody. Rich Bigger, Shanghai-based social entrepreneur, here today at the Inclusion Factory. They're working with an amazing population of mentally and physically challenged individuals to produce high-quality precision materials for the automotive and electronics industries. As a start, introduce yourself to the community and the work that you've been doing.
So hello everyone, I'm Marina, originally from Israel. I have been in China for the past 6 years, and currently I'm the Training and Development Director of the Inclusion Factory in Taicang. And we are specializing in employment for people with intellectual and mental disabilities.
How did the Inclusion Factory get started?
So first, Taicang, the city we are here, has 300 German companies. And in Germany, they have a very famous model called Lebenshilfe. And it's actually doing the same, providing work for people with intellectual disabilities. And they decided to copy it to China. The main goal is to use employment as a tool for inclusion, for rehabilitation. Not like the work itself is not the key, like it's not the most important thing, it's just a tool.
So tell me about the people who work here. Like you mentioned people with disabilities, the families, like who's down here and what's their background?
All in all, our headcount is 55 people, 36 with intellectual and mental disabilities. We have few with other kind of impairments. They're just people from Taicang mainly. We have people who moved here from very far places just for this opportunity, because the employment opportunities are scarce, especially for people with intellectual disabilities. And suddenly they have this opportunity to feel, you know, I belong, I'm also part of the community, I'm also part of the family.
Yeah, because not just in China, but in many societies, the idea of a disability of any kind, mental, physical, it's kind of, I won't say shunned, but it's something that may hold an individual back, may be kind of a problem for the family, but you're seeing that unwind a bit.
I mean, in China, it's more complicated because many people believe that this happens to our employees because it's a reincarnation for someone who did something bad in previous life, it's a curse, it's something like this. And then we want to push him away. Right. But actually, this place offers first also to the so-called normal society to come and to see that actually these people and myself are kind of the same. You know, he works, I work. He has hobbies, I have hobbies. He likes to go traveling. We're more alike than different.
So you have the 36 here. How do you identify the right employees, and then how much of their ability is training versus just their natural ability and learning about them as individuals and catering to that?
The only thing we want to see the disability certificate, that is, it's really, and of age. Yeah. And sometimes the parents don't believe he can work, but we know he can. We just need to find the approach. We need to find the suitable training, because people are different, and some people can be very slow in many projects. In one project that he likes very much, he will be super fast, for example. Sometimes it's really inborn, they're just fast, they can communicate better, but some things can be trained. It depends also on the house, on the environment in the family. We have one employee, he arrived, 27, he was still fed by his grandma, fed, you know? Right. And and he can absolutely, he can do everything for himself, but they feel like he's a baby, we need to help him. And I don't understand that it's not help, this is doing for him and making him a baby. They're babyizing him, I don't know how to say it. And he came here also, he was eating for 65 minutes, and like one rice at a time, and he was like super slow. And we said, you know, actually you are an adult, you are working here, we don't do that. We're not going to cater for you. We're going to help you to eat because you can do it yourself. Right. And suddenly he became like 4 times faster, because at home, he's not getting any opportunity to do anything. Everything, he drops something on the floor, the grandma runs and picks it up. And here, we have, because our products are very high demanding products, also our demands from the employees are high demands. Yeah. So you are an adult, you are an employee, you should come here. You cannot just say, oh, today I don't feel it. No, you must come here and you must adhere to certain regulations. And I think that it helps our employees to feel, you know, I can do more. I want to do more. I want to be faster. So it depends. I mean, it's a hard question to answer. Some people, it takes 1 month to teach them to put small piece inside another piece, which is super easy. Some people just see it and they can do it without you saying one word.
What is it like when they first come in here for like the first day? How do they it must be just a total overwhelming experience.
It depends. Like suddenly, first time you need to listen to all kind of regulations. You need to come on time. You need to work faster. So it's like it's a lot to handle. Some people really want that because probably they know that the father working, mother working. They saw it on TV. Some people just, they come and it's like they're crying. They say, "Please take me home. I don't want to be here." But in 99.9 cases, after a certain period of time, they understand, okay, I kind of like it, I know the people, I can do it well, and they want to stay.
Do you see that they have a huge gain right away, or is it like a slow improvement, or how do they feel like maybe after a week or after 6 months of being here?
We have a system with ABCD, which A is the easiest and D is the most difficult one. And we start with A to have this sense of achievement, that because everyone can do the A part, and you do it and you do well, and good for you, and you do well, and I do well from the first time I do something, it never happened to me before, so it's
so you're just building. So if you think back to when this was first set up and to its core values as an organization, is that the most important thing for the organization, is the personal development of the employees? Is it the showing the community or your customers that we can do this? Is it about the products themselves and that we have these special, amazing people who can do the work? Like, what are the core principles to that?
The most important thing is to have people with disabilities, yes, they have a disability, included in society as us. And this access is not there. So we want to show that this is what should happen. So for our employees. And also we saw that companies can actually provide this platform to hire internally people for their organization. They don't need only to outsource work to us. So we did a project with Flex, and we helped them to establish, now we're doing with L'Oreal in Suzhou, to establish internal packaging line with people with intellectual disabilities. So the main point is to re-educate society also.
So if I talk about this platform more from a business angle, you mentioned L'Oreal, you mentioned Flex, and that you're helping them set this up. How much of that is the fact that you're proving here that their quality, their efficiency is at the same level or beyond somebody else that they would normally hire? How much of that is due to the government's regulations around you must have a percentage or a number of this population that's in here, and they just like, oh, you can help us? Like, what's the reason for bringing for taking on these projects?
Now it's, I think, important for companies to show we are not only profitable, we don't only manufacture like everything from pen to, I don't know, to a sewing machine. We also like give back to society. I think this is it. Specifically in Flex, they had a very, very passionate CSCR manager, and she is a person, like, if she says, I want to jump from this window and land on the other, she will do it. And she started, they had 500 employees with hearing impairment. Then she get to know us, and she said, I'm going to do it in Flex.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's great.
But she did it really because she believes that it should be done. I think we are here in China at the right time for this, because I think 5 years ago it would not be possible. People will say, I mean, we have this, at least in the East Coast, like the socioeconomic level of people is pretty high, so now it's time to do this.
So what does it take to convince business to take you, your factory, your employees, your quality seriously?
I think that we have a very good showcase. What we do usually, as a supplier, we say, okay, we want to come to your factory to see what is possible for us to do, because we don't take every project. Some things we just really cannot do because of we just 36 people, because of time, because of many things. And we choose the project and we do it for the first batch for free, for them to see the quality. Because at the end of the day, if the quality is good and you're sending your final goods on time, what does matter who does it for you? But if at the same time you can also support the people with disabilities, then you are like the king of the world, right?
Okay, so your showcase is quality. How do you build on that? Because actually it's really interesting. Like, you start off with that one little wiring harness, and now you have probably 40, 50 products that you've worked on. But you've moved from that also to helping the Chinese government as a showcase to help others understand the possibilities. Now you're helping actually do consulting and set up for other firms who may not want you to manage long term. They just want you to help get set up and to create that process. So what is your business model? We call it Inclusion Group. So we have Inclusion Factory, Inclusion Academy, and Inclusion Advisory.
So under advisory, we do this awareness trainings, we do this offering to the companies. We help you from zero till the end. Training your job coaches is part of our academy. We are helping you to design the space, to choose the products, to organize an open day, to interview, to assess, to train the people, and we stay with you for 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we hope that after this 6 months, you'll be independent. Of course, if at any time you need us, Flex still calling us, even like now, they call us from time to time to ask different questions. Of course, I mean, because our main goal is it's going to be long lasting.
And so when you think about scale and maybe going forward, do you look more at those kind of models? Because in a way, once you've done the first few, the process is you assess, you structure, you train, maybe you measure and adjust over time, but you can, the money, if we're honest about it, seems a lot easier than if you're producing and having to worry about quality and cash flow and material and equipment. So do you see this as a more attractive business model going forward?
Now we want to have a local partner, because eventually we're in China and foreign companies is nice, but now we're establishing a cooperation with a Chinese NGO. It's called Huiling. They're very, very, you know Huiling? Very famous in the rehabilitation, but now they want to be more professional. Right. So we are going to probably establish a new inclusion factory with them. Like it's going to be them, we're going to be like the consultancy. We want to go to Shanghai because people are, it's a bigger and people are more aware. I think it's a good time to do it. So the more Chinese partners will take part of it, it's our biggest goal eventually.
Because this is an area I think where a lot of nonprofits and social entrepreneurs aren't very clear, is the idea that they should be working their way out of business in a way. And particularly as a foreign entrepreneur, like you have 36 employees, there's 85 million people, like are you the person, is this the shop that's gonna scale to that need, or is it a Chinese group like Huilin, which can have like national coverage, work with hundreds of cities and government agencies? Like what's the best way forward? And a lot of them will say, well, I wanna protect my thing.
No. I mean, maybe if you asked me 3 years ago, I would say the same. But I think what should happen, it should be Chinese. And Huiling came to us because, I mean, they are doing it for 20 years. So we will help them. We will advise. We can teach you we can give you our know-how. I'm not keeping it in my pocket. Come, please. You want to copy it? Please, go ahead. As long as you maintain the quality, we are happy about it. And eventually, we want the government to say, we believe in this is ours, and we want to promote it.
So what changed? You said, if you asked me 3 years ago, what changed in those 3 years that makes you think differently now?
I became older. No, but really because I think that in the beginning you are in the hype in the beginning, and you see like in the beginning it was so small and it grows, and you are part of it and you are pushing it. But then eventually, who are you serving? Are you serving yourself? Eventually, we work with and for our employees.
You mentioned, oh, I work with this, I work with that, SAP, ISO. Do you have to do more than to impress your client?
100% yes.
Okay.
Yeah. We must be cleaner, we must be nicer looking, our design should be great, our 5S, I mean, everything should be no compromise at all. Okay. And also in terms of our employees, we really take care that they are clean, they're organized, their hair is brushed, because we need to work harder. We need to show that despite the fact that our initial starting point is so-called weaker, but we can do this, that better than you.
If you look out 5 years from now, what is your vision for what this organization will look like and the people it will help?
We want to reach about around 50, 60 employees here, and then constantly to have people go to open market companies, of course, if they want to. Right. Secondly, we want to have more consultants, more like we do this awareness training. Currently, it's me and another colleague, but we want to have more, because the demand is much more than we can handle already now.
Right.
Yeah, and I think in 5 years it's going to be even crazier. So we want it should be more Chinese, it should be bigger, and just more people.
When you talk about the showcase, you talk about investment, you talk about all these movements. Is it important to you to move faster or slower then? Because the way I think about it is, once you've proven that you can do it, you kind of have to go as fast as possible before someone else shows that they can do it better than you, or before you get too bored, or before like a startup becomes 15 years old, it's not a startup anymore. You just haven't really succeeded yet. So do you feel a lot of pressure to move faster as you're coming up with these? No.
We feel like, because we learned that faster is not necessarily better. And in our field, if you just you run, maybe we prefer it to be like good quality. If it's also fast, it's nice, but the point is not. Also, like with the companies, it's like, yeah, we want to hire this person. Yes, I understand the excitement, but hold on.
Yeah.
If you want it to be long-lasting, now we're like moving much faster than we used to before, because in the beginning it was new and you need to know who you're working against and with and along and now we are starting to expand at the same time, but again because we have the manpower, because we have, and now also keep in mind like about this distance. Now we are very stable. In the beginning, my husband and I who work together here, we couldn't take one vacation together. It was either him or I. Yeah. And we didn't go to Israel together for 4 years. And so, now we're at the point we can not come here for 6 months and everybody will be okay. I mean, we just can call, emails. It's like, so it's like now it's the time to go and do something elsewhere, like with this background, with this know-how to expand it to different places.
All right, now I guess last question is, if you were talking to someone who was getting into this field, entrepreneur, what are 3 pieces of advice you would give that individual?
I think first is just if you believe in it, go with it. Somehow somehow like the universe makes it happen, but don't let people tell you, oh, it's not a good idea, it's big, 85 million, how can you help? No, no, no. This is okay. I mean, if we all think like this, nothing will move like ever. So I think just if you have an idea and you want to do it, just go with it, because I think passion sometimes pushes things faster than just like sitting on your couch and being afraid. I mean, that's not going to help you. So go with it. This is number 1. Second, I think that we need to understand that if you are doing it abroad, the cultural context, the society we live. We know everything. We're so smart. I will tell you how to do it. Yeah. You don't understand the culture. Hold on, because so many things I learned here that now it's so clear, but we need to understand because we are operating here, we are a guest here, and we need to operate through the point of view of people, of the local people. It's very important. I think it's the only way to succeed as well, because in the beginning you have a hype because you're foreign, you bring something new. After a while, people want to feel that it's us, it's ours, we are understood, we are seen. And number 3, as many partners as possible. I mean, no matter what you are doing, because you can think you can do it alone if you're Elon Musk, but even Elon Musk has many, many employees, you know, because people want to do good things, and the moment you explain it clearly, people would like to cooperate. So I think, so partners is important.
Great. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.